Right everyone, today we're going to be trialling a new counter series. If people like and enjoy it, I'll be sure to run this alongside 5-minute modding. So the goal of this video is to show you all a ton of counters to use against Geonosians. I'm going to place the teams into two categories, the first of which will be optimal counters. These teams I highly recommend using in all circumstances, as long as the gear is comparable to your opponent, unless stated otherwise. The second category is the overpowered category, which are teams that work against Geos but are a tier above them, so they're likely better used on stronger teams. This isn't too over the top like using Darth Revan and other GLs, because that would just be a colossal waste, so the teams in this category are still worth using if you're stuck or come across a very high relic team. So without any further delay, let's get started and take a look at some amazing teams to destroy Geonosians. So this first team is a personal favourite of mine because it uses a bunch of characters that we probably wouldn't gear if not going for Jrey. It's nice to be able to make a useful team out of these guys that can take out commonly annoying teams like Geos very effectively. This team uses a combination of ability block and daze to keep the Geos under locks while spreading expose, which under the ZFinn Zeta lead is going to grant our team turn meter and remove it from the enemy team each time an expose is hit. Poe also has the added effect of landing buff immunity on Brute early on, so once Chewie comes along and dispels his taunt, we have free reign to focus down Brood Alpha. Be sure to spam Han's AoE and keep Brood Alpha stunned and the rest of the team ability blocked as much as possible. Once Brood is stunned, feel free to target other Geos close to taking turns to minimise the risk even further. Holdo is going to be amazing for popping exposes and landing daze to stop the assists, and Poe is going to be your main source of exposes. This is all possible due to the fact that when an expose is hit under ZFinn lead, all resistance allies have their cooldowns decreased. Focus down Brood Alpha first and focus on controlling the enemy team, and you should have no problem fighting an equally geared Geonosian team with these guys. This next team is also very effective in killing Geonosians. Your standard CLS team with Old Ben does a great job of controlling the field. Open up with Raidhan and stun Brood Alpha, then place buff immunity on Brute to remove the taunt and hopefully stop it reapplying, and then focus down Brood Alpha as quickly as possible. After a few hits, so long as you have Luke's lead and it binds all things unique Zetas, you should have full turn meter on Old Ben before the opposing team can even take a turn. At this point, Mind Tricks from Old Ben will ability block and remove turn meter from the enemy team, which will buy you more than enough time to take out Brood Alpha. Once that's done, the rest of the team will drop like flies. Up next is our Jrey Resistance team with the res heroes present, which makes killing Geonosians a lot easier. Use Poe's third ability to land buff immunity on Brute, and then same as with the other teams, unleash your highest damaging attacks on Brood Alpha. This team generates a lot of turn meter, so as long as you have decent mods, they should not get a chance to turn the tables on you. As usual, once Brood Alpha is dead, the team will just fall apart, and generally this fact is true for any Geonosian team. The key is usually neutralising Brute and then killing Brood Alpha as quickly as possible. Next up is our Nightsisters. I'd like to say from the get-go that this can go horribly wrong if you don't have the right mods, or sometimes RNG can really mess this team up if they target DACA too often. Thankfully though, Zombie generally offers enough protection to the team, long enough to start landing stuns, which is the key for this team to work. Your main priority is to try and stun as many Geos as possible with DACA's stun, which can be difficult at times. Be sure to use Zombie's basic to land Nasty down on as many of them as possible to make your stuns more consistent, but be sure to remember, keeping Brood Alpha and Poggle stunned is the priority, as they both have full team cleanses. If you can hold out long enough, Plague will eventually get them low enough for you to easily start picking off members of the team. So this undersized team is the most well known Geo counter. However, as you're going to see here, when fighting against a relic spy, if your Trioma gear 12 can result in a very close match. When fighting against equal geared Geos, however, this team handles them like a piece of cake. The Traya lead makes them destroy their own health to the point where after a few attacks they can all be taken out in 1 or 2 hits. This has the added benefit of providing more banners due to the fact that we're only using 3 characters, but as I said, beware against relic teams unless you have relics on your own Triumvirate. This next team is another one of my favourites. Jawas do not have much use in the game as many people know, but they're an absolutely amazing Geonosian counter, and the good news is you can generally take out Geos a few gear levels higher than your Jawas. In this footage, my Jawas range between gear 9 and gear 11 and were able to beat this full gear 12 Geo team. How this works is you're just going to need to survive long enough for the thermal detonators from Jawa Scavenger's unique to stack up. Each time an enemy attacks out of turn, multiple thermal detonators will land on the Geos. It helps massively for Jawa Engineer to go first so he can pass turn meter to Scavenger so he can use his AoE to stealth, as he'll need to stay alive for the thermals to keep landing. Outside of this, mod everyone else with critical avoidance arrows and protection primaries so they can withstand a few attacks, specifically Nebbit, and you should be good to go. So we're moving on to the overpowered category now. These teams people generally have geared well and are much more useful used against stronger opponents, but we all have those times where we have no choice but to use something a little stronger to guarantee a key victory, or even if you come across a top end relic team that you're a bit nervous to fight with your regular counters. Anyway, this first team is basically the reworked Darth Vader, who under a Palpatine lead can easily take out strong Geo teams himself before they can even take a turn. with his Merciless Massacre ability. The rest of the team offers stuns and chances for both turn meter reduction and massive turn meter gains for your team due to the Palpatine lead. Here we have Grievous and his droids who are going to make really short work of Geonosians due to Grievous's high damaging attacks, but most importantly his AoE. Really not much else to say about this. Grievous is going to absolutely demolish any GEO team, which makes this a really nice squad to use if you come across one of those full R7 GEO teams that make you sick to your stomach deciding what to use for a clean win. Padme squads are another very reliable way to take out GEO squads because the bonus protection when opponents attack out of turn, GK's Taunt and the stacks of courage that can easily one-shot an opponent once it's stacked up for a while make this team a very strong counter to GEO teams. You might lose a couple of members throughout the battle if you're unlucky, but once your courage stacks drop a GEO or two, everything will easily fall into place for you to grab that victory. Up next we have Shaak Ti and the Clones, which is another powerful team you can use to take out some of the stronger GEO teams. Most people at this point have this team geared very well, and given a lot of squads are using gas elsewhere at the higher end, it gives the option for Shaak Ti to get her clones back. Echo's grenade is going to deal massive amounts of damage to this team, and should you need it, Rex's aerial advantage will easily take out members of the opposing team later on in the battle. Finally, this team is a bit of an odd case. Jedi Knight Revan is both too good to be used on GEOs generally, and to top it off, if you're fighting a top end team you can actually lose, so I don't recommend this one unless you have literally no other option. If you do end up using this though, your best option is to mark Brood until most of their protection is gone, and then if their Brood is one of their stronger team members, mark one of the weaker GEOs and start taking them out like that. As helpful as taking Brood out first is, I sometimes struggle to kill him fast enough to stop the rest of the team from becoming a big threat, so taking out the weaker members first can yield an advantage, but honestly don't use this team unless you have no other option, as it's both not ideal and a waste of a strong team. The one thing we do have going for us is Jolie's Revive, which can easily bring our team back to life as the GEOs target them down. This is also the biggest problem because if we lose Jolie, the chances of winning the battle are slim, and without high gear all it takes is one of Spy's massive hits to target Jolie and things will go south very quickly. And there we have it everyone. I hope you all enjoyed the video and learned a few new teams to help you take out GEO walls in TW and GAC. I've wanted to do this kind of video for a while now, but the biggest problem is actually finding a place to consistently test and record footage. Yeah, there's TW and GAC, but these modes are not up constantly and allow little room for taking risks if you can avoid it. Thankfully though, my Arena Shard are very supportive of the channel and are willing to switch in the teams I need for footage, so a massive thanks to them all. Please be sure to let me know if you want more of these types of videos. I'm more than happy to make more on other teams if enough people enjoy and benefit from them. I'll most likely focus on teams that are common to come across in TW walls to help show everyone as many counters to commonly encountered teams as possible. As always everyone, please remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, ring that notification bell, join my Discord server and share the video with your friends. Thanks for watching everyone, and I'll see you all very soon.